All right, time to talk kids. What kind of parent are you? This could be really revealing. Maybe your spouse. You could be different. There are 4 basic parenting styles, and what you do does impact your child's behavior.
All right, very interesting. So joining us now to unpack all of this is Dr. Laura Saunders, a psychologist at the Institute of Living. Happy Wednesday.
Hello, friends, and happy Wednesday.
So we talked about helicopter parenting. That's when you hover too much and how that can kind of hurt your kids when we're not letting them learn how to fail. But there are really, in your world of psychology, 4 basic styles. Can we talk about them? I'm sure that it might be a combination maybe, right?
Right. And so obviously there's like entire courses taught on this. So we're going to do really the 5-minute version here. But there's 4 basic parenting types. One we're not going to spend a lot of time talking about. That's authoritative, authoritarian, permissive, and then neglectful or completely uninvolved. So we're not really going to spend much time talking about neglectful or completely uninvolved, because that is, if you're that uninvolved, you need to step in some way. So it's the authoritarian, the authoritative, and the permissive. And about 45% of parents are authoritative. And about 25% are authoritarian, which is more the disciplinarian, and then permissive. And what we do is we look at these based on 2 different dimensions, and that's demandingness, what kind of things you demand of your child, and responsiveness, how responsive you are to those needs. So we look at the styles based on demandingness and responsiveness.
Okay, so us being responsive, like your child has a need, and how are we responding to them?
Yes, us being responsive to their needs, their desires, so, and that doesn't mean to, again, we talk about the concept of the good enough parent. It doesn't mean you're responding to their every breath and whim.
Oh, Dr. Saunders, we're just going to take a moment.
Their friends, they need to go to school. They need to do things outside of school, like other extracurricular activities.
Yeah, okay, so we lost you for just a second, but we got you back, and we have all the 4 basic parenting styles on the screen here. So since we don't have a lot of time, I guess the authoritarian is, the authoritative.
The most popular.
That would be the one that we should be doing more often. Is that the best one?
And how do you know what your parenting style is?
So it's really, do you set expectations for your child? Do you have guidelines that they need to follow? Do you have rules? And then are you then able to meet their needs? So it doesn't mean in the authoritarian, you really don't care what their needs are. These are the rules, these are the guidelines, you will follow them at all costs. And so it's that responsiveness that kind of switches you over. And it is okay that parents are different. They don't have to be exactly the same, but they have to kind of blend to create an overall authoritative, high demands, but high responsiveness as well.
So how do you blend those 2 if your co-parenting or your co-parenting styles? How do you blend the 2 to make sure that they're working best for your kids?
So what you need to do is sort of look at your child's behavior. If you have a child that is, needs more structure or needs more guidelines, I mean, you're responding to that. If you're overly permissive and you have a child that needs those things, they're going to be wild and out of control. They're going to have behavior problems in school. They're going to be behavior problems at home. They're going to have social difficulties. And in those situations, you need to look at how your style's impacting their behavior, and you need to step in a little bit. And very often that requires looking at the way that you were raised and the way that you were parented as well.
Yeah, and this can be tricky because sometimes parents, it can create a lot of conflict if one is a little more permissive and the other is a little more not. But ideally, you want, I guess, you want to blend.
You want to blend, and you want good communication, right? It's okay that that dad tends to be let certain things go and mom doesn't, but they need to be able to communicate about that, and it needs to not be one undermining the other.
So do we go in the room and work out our plan before we come out and give it to the kids? Like, do we always have to be on the same page?
Well, always is a tough word to use, but getting used to phrases like, let me check with your mom, let me check with your dad, let me check with my spouse, let me check with this person first before I just give you carte blanche to do whatever you want. You need to have some independent decision making, But there needs to be a sense that you're working as a team. And again, if you're a single parent, you are doing more of this on your own. You may not be able to work as well with your ex-spouse, or even if you don't have another parent that you're working with. So it's having a set of guidelines, and it's okay to start fresh each day and try to move in a direction.
Okay.
I like that. Start fresh each day.
Right, because there's enough blame in the parenting world to go around.
Sure.
But
Yeah. This is not about blaming anyone. This is about trying to be the best person that you can be and being forgiving of yourself.
absolutely. And then we can make that for our kids. Thank you so much, Dr. Saunders.